Hey all, I figured I would do a super quick mini review of the new RoadID with silicone strap today. It's just a real fast review. I just kind of like set it up, I cut it, I put it into shape and all of that good stuff. I think I call it neoprene a couple of times, the strap in it. It's actually silicone. It's that, I mean, it's basically like an Apple Watch strap or something like that, you know, that, or Fitbit or whatever. The kind of classic silicone thing. So anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and do the video of me setting it up and getting it working and my thoughts, and there you go. Alright, apologies for the poor video and probably audio quality, but I thought I'd just do a super quick thing on the RoadID. So this is their new product. It's got a neoprene type band on it. Sorry, I'm covering up the ID, but you know, there's the information that would be on there normally. And on the back it has a serial number and a PIN number, which allows you to create an online ID, which I'll show in just a picture. But anyway, so it allows you, so you know, basically I travel with this on my bicycle, but if you were hiking or something like that too, and actually interestingly enough, it allows you to put passport information on, and that's pretty cool because that allows you to you know, if you're traveling internationally or something like that, you can have people be able to get a hold of your passport. So all good. It's got a clasp. It's an okay clasp. Interesting coming from being a watch person. So anyway, when you open up the clasp, it then pops open. So this is a press clasp. Anybody who's a watch aficionado knows it's like, okay, that's kind of cheap. But you know, this is a $19 ID, so it's not like it's that big a deal. And I did, by the by, pay complete retail. I got a sale on it because it was a little less expensive. I think they took $10 off, so it's normally like $29, but it was $19 or something. But anyway, I paid retail, so you know, I had a RoadID, or actually have a RoadID that's ancient, and it's the wrong address, and a whole bunch of things are incorrect about it. But one of the really nice things about this one is it allows you to keep an electronic version for $10 a year that stays up to date automatically. And with that ID, first responders can look into that. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, obviously this band is too big for my wrist right now, so I'm going to resize it. You need to use a pair of scissors, and there's these little markings here like that. And so supposedly you just cut one off a time until it fits you. I'm gonna cut it off so it fits my wrist, but for the most part, I just wrap it around my bicycle seat stem. So that's the way I usually use it, and it just sits there all the time. But we're gonna go through and we're gonna cut this until it fits to size, and then I'll show you. By the by, as you can see here, it's got like a little gripper thing that you close. Not a particularly big fan because it's actually a pain in the butt to do adjustments with it, but that's fine. Anyway, after it gets adjusted the first time, you really don't have to mess with it anymore. But you can see that there's little numbers on the back, and so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it to size here. So obviously, as you can see, it's super easy to cut, and you have to be a little bit careful because you don't want to go too far down here, or else you can't exactly size it up once you've sized it down. So you got to be a little careful. So I'm going to try this on a few, and I'll be back when I have it sized right. So I discovered that it works better if you don't cut it right on those little lines, if you cut it right on the kind of in between them, because it allows the claws to snap down on it. Not a big fan of this adjustment system. The claw is a pain in the butt to use. It's hard to pop it open and everything. And honestly, I just wish that they'd allowed it to have slack that would run around. And because the problem is when it goes through, when the band goes through, it gets stuck there. And so you have to cut it exactly the size. And it would be much, much easier if they just had allowed it to run through, and then you could just cut off the slack after you had it adjust to the right size. Or just have something that was continuously adjustable instead of these little teeth. Not a big fan. So anyway, that's definitely a negative. Although it's, you know, it's a small negative because you're only dealing with it when you're actually trying to adjust the size of this thing. Okay, and here it is. I've left it a little bit loose. I don't want it super tight. So anyway, and like I said, I'm mostly going to put it around my bicycle seat stem. So it doesn't really have to be perfectly sized right now. Again, I'm not showing the top, but you can see the clasp there. It fits great. It would be incredibly lightweight to wear while hiking or something like that. Again, you could just wrap it around your backpack too if you wanted to. So you know, I think overall I have fortunately not had to use my old RoadID, but I think the new one, especially with the electronic attachment so that you can have a profile that first responders can get to. So even if this is like 10 years old, it still would be valid because they could look up the PIN and the serial number and be able to find your information even if it's completely changed from 10 years before. So I give it a thumbs up. There you go. I'll give it a definite thumbs up. I think this is a great thing for people who are adventuring, you know, to have something like this. It's kind of nice looking, right? It's like a, you know, It's a neoprene type band, but it's nice to have the red stripe through the middle. And they have tons and tons of choices. And I have to say their customer service is fun. They have little notes that they send and things like that. So there's a lot of good stuff to go with it. So I heartily endorse RoadID. I just honestly wish that they had done a little bit better job. They do have other buckling systems, so I could have picked one. I thought this was going to work a little easier than it did. Not a huge fan of the adjustment system, but again, you know, how much is that? It was a couple minutes worth of effort, so it's not that big a deal. So anyway, thumbs up again. So there you go. You can see obviously the backside again, but you can see I've just basically clamped it onto my little gear bag there and the Velcro thing here. So I just took the Velcro off, slipped this on, clamped it shut, put the Velcro back on, and it's permanent. It won't go anywhere. So, and again, if first responders need it, they can get to it very easily because it's like on the side of the bicycle in an obvious place. So as you can tell from when I was working on it, the adjustment of the clasp is a little bit of a pain in the butt. It would be much, much easier if they'd allowed the silicone strap in the back to go kind of through the clasp, and then you could cut it after you've sized it already, but they didn't do it that way. Anyway, it's really not that big a deal. I particularly like the RoadID, the online RoadID, so that if your information changes, you can always update it without having to get a whole new RoadID, and that's super cool. I think that their website, the ordering website for RoadID is fine, but the myRoadID website, I'll show a picture of it. It looks like it's straight from the 90s, so ew, they really need to update the look of that. But in general, in terms of the functionality, what it gives you, the safety measure, the, you know, peace of mind for your family and so forth, I think there's no question that it's a great product, and I heartily endorse it, with just a couple of very small caveats anyway. So and given that their customer service is so awesome, maybe they'll fix those things. That would be super cool. Anyway, I hope this review was helpful, and if so, click the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more of this stuff. We love to adventure even if we have to do it at home, right? Till next time.